First and foremost, I want to give all praises, glory, and honor to Yahweh, Bahashem, Yahweh Shai, Bahashem, Rachakodash. Double honors to our apostles and elders, a great millstone that rule well. Peace and blessings to the hopeful elect out here pushing this truth in sincerity. The lot of which y'all do, we love you, we appreciate you through the spirit of Yahweh, Bahashem, Yahweh Shai, and shalom to y'all. This your brother Dawud Dodd from the Great Millstone Camp in Atlanta. Lord willing to give you an edifying lesson through the spirit and power of Yahweh Bashem Yahweh Shai. Who the world ignorantly calls God, his name is Yahweh, meaning he is or he exists or he to be. Who the world ignorantly calls Jesus Christ, his name is Yahweh Shai, meaning he is the Savior, all right? He is the deliverer, all right? He saves, he delivers. If you're watching this now, you are a so-called black, Native American, or Latino man or woman, then you are a Hebrew Israelite according to the Holy Bible. You will not find black, Native American, or Latino in the Bible. So you have to know who you are according to the Bible, all right? Because a certain people in the Bible was promised the kingdom, the covenants, the glory, and salvation, all right? Now, just because you don't look like a so-called black, Native American, or Latino man or woman, that doesn't mean that you're not a Hebrew Israelite. That does not mean that you will not get salvation. All right? It does not matter what you look like. It does not matter what color your skin is. It only matters that your bloodline goes back to Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob. Jacob had his name later changed to Israel. Israel in the Hebrew is Yasharallah, meaning he is a prince of the power. All right? All right, now, yeah, so you read that. I'm just going to get through this. This is 2 Samuel 2, verse 1. Now you see the subtitle reads, David made king over Judah. So we'll just jump into it. It says, and it came to pass after this, that David inquired of the Lord, saying, shall I go up into any of the cities of Judah? And the Lord said unto him, go up. And David said, whither shall I go up? And he said unto Hebron. So David went up thither, and his two wives also, Ahinoam the Jezreelitess, and Abigail Nabal's wife the Carmelite. And his men that were with him did David bring up, every man with his household, and he dwelt in the cities of Hebron. And you remember, David just, with the Lord, they were able to get every man's household back, because everything from the men's household was taken from them, all right? They were kidnapped, stolen. So they got him back. Glory be to Yahweh Shai Shai. That must have been a beautiful event to see, man. The glory, given to Yahweh Shai through David, man. Because why? He inquired of the Lord. He prayed and inquired of the Lord first and foremost. It says, and the men of Judah came, and they anointed David king over the house of Judah, and they told David, saying that the men of Jabesh Gilead were they that buried Saul. And David sent messengers unto the men of Jabesh Gilead, and said unto them, blessed be ye of the Lord, that ye have shewed this kindness unto your Lord, even unto Saul, and have buried him. Now, I know we already checked with Jabesh Gilead, man. I know it wasn't dry, right? Because, yeah, it's just dry, right? Yep, Jabesh meaning dry. Gabash. And David sent messages to the men. Verse 6, it says, and now the Lord, Yahweh shall show kindness and truth unto you. And I will also, and I also will requite you this kindness, because ye have done this thing. Therefore now let your hands be strengthened, and be ye valiant, for your master Saul is dead, and also the house of Judah have anointed me king over them. Ishbosheth made king over Israel. But Abner the son of Ner, captain of Saul's host, took Ishbosheth the son of David, and brought him over to Mahanaim, and made him king over Gilead, and over the Asherites, and over Jezreel, and over Ephraim, and over Benjamin, and over all Israel. Ishbosheth, Saul's son, was 40 years old when he began to reign over Israel, and reigned 2 years. But the house of Judah followed David, Dawadat, beloved. It says, in the time that David was king in Hebron over the house of Judah was 7 years and 6 months. Subtitle reads Civil War. Yeah, because you had the house of David versus the house of Saul. All right. It says, and Abner the son of Ner, and the servants of Ishbosheth the son of Saul, went out from Mahanaim to Gibeon. And Joab the son of Zeruiah, and the servants of David went out and met together by the pool of Gibeon, and they sat down, the one on the side of the pool and the other on the side of the pool. And Abner said to Joab, let the young men now arise and play before us. And Joab said, let them arise. Then there arose and went over by number 12 of Benjamin, which pertained to Ishbosheth the son of Saul, and 12 the servants of David. And they caught every one his fellow by the head, and thrust his sword in his fellow's side. So they fell down together. Wherefore that place was called Helkatha Zurim, which is in Gibeon. You know we need to get these words. That's lucky for the mispronunciation. Hakath Hatsutim. Field of Swords. Field of Swords. It says, and there was a very sore battle that day, and Abner was beaten, and the men of Israel before the servants of David. And there were 3 sons of Zeruiah there, and Joab and Abishai and Asahel. And Asahel was as light of foot as a wild roe. And Asahel pursued after Abner, and in going he turned not to the right hand nor to the left from following Abner. Then Abner looked behind him and said, art thou Asahel? And he answered, I am. And Abner said unto him, turn thee aside to the right, thy right, or to thy left, and lay thee hold on one of the young men, and take thee his armor. But Asahel would not turn aside from following him. And Abner said again to Asahel, turn thee aside from following me. Wherefore should I smite thee to the ground? How then should I hold up my face to Joab thy brother? Howbeit he refused to turn aside. Wherefore Abner with the hinder end of the spear smote him under the 5th rib, that the spear came out behind him, and he fell down there and died in the same place. And it came to pass that as many as came to the place where Asahel fell and died stood still. Joab also and Abishai pursued after Abner. And the sun went down when they were come to the hill of Ammah, that lieth before Giah, by the way of the wilderness of Gibeon. And the children of Benjamin gathered themselves together after Abner, and became one troop, and stood on the top of an hill. Then Abner called to Joab and said, shall the sword devour forever? Knowest thou not that it will be bitterness in the latter end? How long shall it be then, ere thou bid the people return from the following their brethren? And Joab said, as God liveth, unless thou hadst spoken, surely then in the morning the people had gone up, every one from following his brother. So Joab blew a trumpet, and all the people stood still, and pursued after Israel no more, neither fought they any more. And Abner and his men walked all that night through the plain, and passed over Jordan, and went through all Bithron. And they came to Mahanaim, and Joab returned from following Abner. And when he had gathered all the people together, there lacked of David's servant 19 men in Asahel. But the servants of David had smitten of Benjamin and Abner's men, so that 360 men died. Dang, man, whew, goodness gracious. It says, and they took up Asahel and buried him in the sepulchre of his father, which was in Bethlehem. And Joab and his men went all night, and they came to Hebron at break of day. I actually had to just, I love reading these because, we're getting some heavy history here, man, and it's lucky if I'm reading, verbatim and not really there's nothing really to break down there. All we know is that we're getting the context of the things that happened that took place, like it said, a civil war, remember, I mean, you got the same thing going on now, but spiritual, where, you got the house of David and the house of Saul, the spiritual, you see these people were contending for the truth. You know what I'm saying? The men of Great Millstone are contending for the truth. Everybody else is stuck on stupid with, whether or not, Latin tribes and Native American tribes or Hebrew Israelites, the name of Yahweh, Ba'ashem, Yahushai, these types of things. They're going back and forth. They're stumbling over the doctrine, So it's very clear that we still, we're fighting amongst our own, but only because we're contending for the truth. Back then, they were actually fighting with swords and being physical, right? We fight a spiritual battle, But, that's why you got these false prophets out there. The Lord said that at the end there will be false prophets. So, you know what I'm saying? So it don't even matter, man. You know what I'm saying? It's always been, But, yeah, I kind of ran through that because got to get ready to go to sleep now. So, yeah, Lord, we're going to use out of 5. I'm going to end it off by giving praises, glory, and honor. All praises, glory, and honor to Yahweh, Ba'ashem, Yahushua, Ba'ashem, Rakakadash. Double honor to the apostles and elders of Great Millstone, rule well. Peace and blessing to the hopeful elect, and shalom.